He was soon transported to the museum workshop, got unloaded, and he had himself standing inside the room. But when he looked around, the car wasn't in here. "Bust my buffers! Where's the car?" He made a gasp. "We only have you to arrange, as the rooms are actually narrow. We're to move the car, which is a tough task to do, as there's a small staircase to get it over, and we have to move a display piece out of the way before moving it past the reception area," said the workman. "You wait your turn now. We'll get the car, then put him back where he was put in the first place," said the museum director. Thomas didn't really mind waiting. The museum did get him reminded of his first visit to a construction site in Italy when Gina was involved in a slow work of digging what was left underground. Presently he grew tired, so shut his eyes to sleep. Then the doors opened up. He could see what was hauled into the workshop. It was in dark green, with 5 chairs, and a flag was put on the left side of the windscreen, and it had 2 holes that were shown still. On the front, it had a number plate with a symbol of numbers in 1 letter. Above it was a name of where it was built from, saying Graf&Stift, and the number plate also said A111118. It was, of course, the Graf&Stift double Phaeton motor car Thomas never thought to see, since he appeared in a book and on television. He said to it, after a long look, "Hello, old-timer. I'm Thomas. You haven't been on the road for decades. What does that nameplate mean?" Thomas felt a little silly to talk to a car, as it didn't really talk. For a while, the car suddenly made a little movement. It made the wheels move together, and the groan sounded. It was moving with no one pushing at the back, which spooked Thomas as he watched it, taking in its visit to the workshop. Then it faced the blue engine. "What on earth is this vehicle?" said the car in a block-nosed voice. Who are you? And can you not ask what these numbers mean? They are when I had short drives in 1914, except for your question, A is short for Armistice Day. I'm Thomas, and I'm a tank engine from Shrewsbury, and Tasman Shrewsbury, different from Tasmania, said Thomas, slightly spooked off the car to tell him not to get him reminded of his short drive. You seem upset with being motionless. But I know you're a Graf&Stift double Phaeton, only forgetting if you have a name. My name? I'm Butters. I've been resting in that museum for 110 years. And I was having people look at me, and I never had myself mended, not once, said the car. I'm sorry you haven't been on the route, but you remain in the museum, and those dents are history marks that can't be rubbed away, said Thomas. I know they are, but I wanted to see what has changed during my absence. What did you get here? By bridge, and I spotted a route beside it. But it's best you to drive on it. With your age of 110, you wouldn't be able to make it to Tasmania. It is a long way. For some reason, Thomas noticed Butters was glancing through the door. He wasn't sure how far the overseas bridge was. Between you and me, we should keep this as a secret. I may be rare, but I can manage with a stretch if the museum director can help it. What secret? I can share it with my friends instead of anybody. Butters told Thomas he had been dreaming of a holiday in Tasmania, and he needed to somehow get himself off his home. You might want to plan it when you get home, he finished. Hold up, Huff. Here come the workmen. Thomas was quickly mended. He was taken out of the workshop and put back on the line. Phaeton had been waiting after shunting the engine in the truck. What were you doing visiting the museum, Thomas? She asked. Talking to Butters, a Graf&Stift Car feeder. He was telling me he was wanting to visit Tasmania, said Thomas. But he told me we have to keep this part of his a secret. That's crazy. How can he cope with Tasmania? We can't take him by rail, Phaeton protested. Well, I know who can help him. I'll introduce you to some small cars. I'm needing to head over to England, so I could look at the museum. You best stay with me because I don't know my way about it. So they steamed to Germany. Peter showed Thomas to a shed she rested in before heading over to the train event. Thomas then told her his plan before they went to sleep. This is what the cars will do. When they come to the museum, they can sneak inside using a key, which I forgot to give back. Bottles will keep it, and they can show him a shortcut instead of driving over the international bridge. One workman, an old one, was telling me there was an old route near a village that leads to a warehouse. He said there's a second room with a door that leads to another ward. And then he said he heard people speaking English, which is Australian. The milliners told me they went to Wedge Avenue, so that's where bottles can go to. Oh, that's really a head spinner, that secret. I suppose you can try getting him there. But he can't drive on the right there, said Phaeton. Oh, that's some sleep. It's a long journey for us to get to England, she added. But before they slept, they felt some lights filling up the shed. You need to tell us, mate. We heard you talking as we toured Germany, said Red. It looks like we can be tour guides for the Graf&Stift Car, said White. And teaching him at the same time as driving on the left, said Blue. Oh, hello. We were about to visit you in England, said Thomas. I thought we were the only ones here. I still like to look at the museum. My driver's been wanting to make overseas photos, said Phaeton. Good luck. The milliners left the shed and went driving to Austria. They got there and started finding the entrance. Came through the entrance doors, using the key Thomas forgot to give back. They had to silence their engines so as not to make a sound. Quietly now, lads. We'll drive on to the right, so as to find boxes in the third room, whispered Red. With our headlights off, display stands have a light each to light up each room, so as to help us not bump into anything, said Blue. Some of them have to be moved, such as the middle display piece, said White. Come on now, let's go in. I've got the key, said Red. One by one, the milliners sneaked inside the museum, passing the entrance desk, turning to the right, finding the third room. They found Barters, who was standing as always. Shh, Barters, no time to explain. We'll make your holiday quite easy. You just need to stay in one piece, whispered Blue. Oh, a field trip. I might get my engine tested in the outside. But my tank needs to be sorted first, said Barters. Having planned his holiday, the milliners began pulling and pushing at the front and back. Right, let's move you out of the museum for the holiday trip. Who did? I'll move the middle display piece first. Oh, crumbs, that was heavy. After Blue did so, they moved the Graf&Stift Car out of the third room, back through the entrance and into the night air. Here, take this can of fuel. It will get you going again, said White. His tank was full, so Barters tried to start his engine. Second tree. It finally worked once he got it to stretch his pistons. Good. Let's get moving to the village before the staff notices, said Red. They started driving away from the museum.